Hey you guys, this is the Kaizen man welcoming you to the Kaizen Project. And today's video is being shot on November 3rd, which, as I'm sure you know, one of the biggest elections of this century. There's a lot of uncertainty out there, there's a lot of stress out there, a lot of distress out there. So I just want to start off by saying, be kind, smile, breathe. And if you don't know what someone's going through, which you rarely ever do, just give them the benefit of the doubt and maybe treat them with some kindness and some humor towards yourself and the situation. So that's my little PSA to start off today's video. What I really want to talk to you about today is investing. And this is the third video that I've made on this topic. So if you haven't checked out the other two videos, make sure you check out the links above. The reason I'm talking about investing is with the economy being completely uncertain right now, with the unemployment rates being crazy high. There's a lot of changes that are happening with everything going digital, virtual meetings, virtual classes, online, everything. There's a lot of unrest in the market. And often when there's unrest in the market, that's when there is an opportunity or many opportunities. There's a lot of channels out there that will give you stock tips and what to invest in. This is not what this channel is about. The videos that I'm making for you are not stock tips. They're more frameworks through which you can view investing. It's about how to manage your psychology, because this part of investing is what separates the people who really are successful and you hear about and everybody else. Managing your psychology, managing your fears, your own emotions amidst uncertainty is really what investing is all about. And in order to do that, I want to talk to you about 5 principles. And these are principles that I have learned and used over time, and I've made a lot of mistakes which have led me to learn the lessons that I needed to understand these principles. And even now, anytime I violate these principles and I go against my better judgment, I tend to end up in an investment that I'm not happy with. So without further ado, let's get right into number 1, which is be patient. I know this one's obvious, but it is so difficult. When I first started investing, I remember, just buying a stock or investment and just checking the price obsessively, keep going on the internet, keep checking what's happening. And often I would sell out too quickly. I would get a little bit of a profit and I would sell. And it's only over time that I've come to realize that investing really makes sense when you do it for the long term. That's where the most amount of long-term gains you can get. And if you want to get a better idea of how time and compound interest can affect your investments, I highly, highly recommend checking out this video right here, which is the rule of 72. Another little tip on be patient is I recommend looking at a company's annual reports and not quarterly earnings, because quarterly earnings don't really give you a clearer picture. When you look at the annual reports, that's kind of when you can see where the company is trending and how it's doing year on year. This brings me to the second point, which is do your research. So do your research as best you can. And this is so important. I know when I get caught up in a stock, it's all over YouTube comments, it's all over the news, and I buy and I just get caught up and end up with something that I don't really understand. And this is important. This is something that Warren Buffett talks about. He doesn't invest in anything he can't understand. And yes, that can make you miss out on certain opportunities like he did with technology. But if you don't understand something in the beginning, you can do your research and get a better understanding of what that investment is, what that company is, whatever subsector you're investing in. If you can't explain it to your friend or to your spouse or to anybody that you know off the street what it is that you're buying and why, then it's probably because you haven't done enough research. So do your research. Number 3, never chase a trade. This one's really important. I've done this before where I've set a limit price for where I want to buy into a stock. And then I see that, the price is just kind of going up and up and it is not dropping to the limit that I've set it to. And I will chase and bring my price up. And usually what happens is if you look at stocks, if you look at most investments, they don't just go straight up and they don't just go straight down. They tend to do a lot of this. So a good thing to remember is that if you're looking at a stock that's trending towards high, which is what you want to be looking at, you don't have to buy it right on the day that it's going up. Wait a day. You'll generally find that the stock price comes down before it maybe goes up again. But be patient, again, point number one. Number three, never chase a trade. This can really bite you, because what ends up happening is you'll buy the stock at its most expensive price, and then it comes down and you realize the next day that, oh man, if I had just waited a few days or maybe waited a week, I could have bought the same investment at a much cheaper price, which then increases your upside a lot more. Number four, look at the bigger picture. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm shooting this on November 3rd, which is a US election day for the president. There's a lot of headwinds that are coming towards the economy right now. Headwinds like coronavirus infections going up. Headwinds like who knows who's going to be president and what that means for the country and also for the world. Headwinds like as we head into winter, a lot of Europe is going into lockdown. Numbers are on the rise in Canada, in the UK. So there's a lot of coronavirus related news right now, which is creating headwinds for the economy. So if you're looking at a stock, it's important to not just kind of focus in on that one particular investment. It's important sometimes to open your lens and get a wider perspective on what's happening. A good way to remember this is to remember to look at the forest and not the trees. Number five, be comfortable with uncertainty. Anytime you're making an investment, there's a level of uncertainty involved. And that's risk, right? Risk is you don't know what's going to happen. But that's where you have the opportunity to double your money or triple your money or whatever. But then there's also the danger or the risk of you losing your money. So anytime you're making an investment, you're going to have a little bit of uncertainty. But the biggest opportunities that become self-evident in hindsight, when you look back at Tesla, you're like, oh, of course. When you look back at Amazon, you're like, of course. But these companies at one point were considered risky. People were not willing to invest in Tesla. People were not willing to invest in Amazon. Today, those people are called stupid. But that's not what they were. They're not stupid. They just weren't comfortable with the uncertainty. I had a friend at one point who, I used to love talking to him about stocks and investing, and he would know a lot about the topic. He knew penny stocks, he knew about investing, but what he never did is actually buy anything. And because of that, even though he did a lot of research, he had a lot of knowledge, he never actually participated in the market and he never saw the returns and never really experienced loss, which is fine. But if you want to invest, which is, I'm guessing since you're still watching this video, you want to invest, you want to, see how you can make the money market work for you, then you have to be comfortable with uncertainty. And understand this, that any good opportunity that seems self-evident in hindsight at one point looked risky. So do your research, but make sure that once you feel like you have enough information, you understand what it is that you're investing in, pull the trigger and go ahead. So real quick, just to recap that, 5 principles that you can use as a framework to invest. Number 1, be patient. Number 2, do your research. Number 3, never chase a trade. Number 4, look at the bigger picture. Number 5, be comfortable with uncertainty. I hope that you enjoyed that video. This is the 3rd video that I've made on investing. I have a couple more ideas on this topic. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you want to see a video about a particular topic, leave a comment below. I love doing this. This is something that gives me a lot of joy, and I love hearing your comments. So anytime I get to interact with you, I get to engage with my audience, it really brings me a lot of joy. So please keep on commenting, keep on sharing. Until next time, it's the Kaizen Man, signing out.